Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Mr. Castater, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Young.
Here.
Mrs. Webb.
Here.
Mr. Kleinfelder.
Present.
Mr. Beckman.
Yes.
Mr. Gunther.
Here.
All right, thank you. Would everyone please stand and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would you like to review the superintendent's part of the agenda, please, Dr. Rice?
Yes, after we get through our formalities this evening, we have an exciting opportunity to hear from our Ross Rambotics team from the middle school who have qualified for a big competition coming up, so excited to hear about that. Last item we'll have for discussion this evening, or two more items for discussion this evening, our book study that we're completing as a district leadership team and as a board, and then we'll have one piece of policy. Later on, for reports and recommendations from the superintendent, we will vote on policy and vote on several different field trips that we have, overnight field trips, including the Rambotics team. And then we'll have policy to approve from our January board meeting.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Castater?
Approval of agenda.
Yes.
You want to approve the agenda or you want to review the treasurer section?
Treasure section.
Treasurer section first.
Yes.
Okay. We just have a handful of items under the treasurer section tonight, our normal monthly reports, including our financial snapshot and cash summary. And we do have a contract tonight with Benchmark for curriculum materials purchase, and that is from High Quality Instructional Materials, HQIM, as they call it, that go along with the Science of Reading mandate that was passed down in the state budget last year. So we're making a purchase for the first round of purchases. There will be another contract that will come through at some point this spring. This is the first round of the curriculum purchases for Science of Reading, high quality instructional materials.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Gunther?
Yes.
Mr. Beckman?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Okay, next item is the approval of minutes. The two sets of minutes to approve, the January 9th organizational meeting minutes and the regular meeting in January minutes as well. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Yes. Mr. Beckman?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Gunther?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. All right, now we're going to be hearing from our Rambotics team, so bring it on.
Hi, my name is Wyatt. This is my third year doing Rambotics, and my favorite thing is to code.
Hi, my name is Henry. This is my first year doing Lego Rambotics, and my favorite thing is building attachments.
Hi, my name is Lizzie. It's my second year, and my favorite thing was building the robot.
Hi, my name is Riley. This is my first year. My favorite thing is being experts.
Hi, my name is Claire. This is my first year doing Rambotics, and my favorite thing about it is the innovation project.
Hi, my name is Callan. This is my first year doing Lego Robotics. My favorite thing is core values.
And together we are Lego Masters. Okay, guys, let's jump into the ocean.
Why didn't you get in the water? I can't get in the water with my glasses on. Isn't there something that we can fix? No.
Here, try putting these in.
They're kind of crooked. That's the problem. They already fixed it. Let's go do it.
Take it out.
Now we will begin our innovation presentation. The topic we are provided this year is to identify and research a problem to relate it to exploring the ocean. We met with Sam Lake, a marine scientist at the University of Virginia. He is a certified scuba diver and swims with turtles and manatees. We learned about algae effects in lakes and ponds from fertilizers and different algae and salt water. We met with Autumn Seagrass from the Newport Aquarium and discovered that 80% of the world's oceans remain unexplored and discussed the roles of ROVs and AOVs in ocean exploration. We spoke with marine conservationist Carrie Bray, who highlighted the human threats to sea turtles' nesting habitats, and we need to raise awareness. Initially, Roger Krishani from Krishani Molds explained the seal molding process for our prototype, while Dr. Glass provided insight on glasses and vision to enhance the inclusiveness of our product.
While to our innovation project, we still realized interest in animals like sharks and turtles, as well as marine building. We brainstormed ideas for trash filters like removing microplastics from water. We also considered developing life filters for baby turtles and trays for illness, besides none of these met the project criteria.
We looked at how people that wear glasses might have difficulty seeing clearly while underwater, so we made plans and came up with ideas. Through speaking with experts, we have found that all people that wear glasses have difficulty seeing clearly while diving in the water. So we asked ourselves, how can we make it easier for people that need to wear glasses explore the oceans? We came up with goggles. The product is very helpful to people who wear prescription glasses and want to scuba dive or any underwater activities by using their own glasses and fitting them into scuba goggles.
If you scuba dive, you cannot wear glasses and therefore cannot see clearly under the water. Diving enables people to be more connected to the understandings of the ocean and issues and problems underwater.
Not everyone can wear contacts. Prescription goggles are expensive, and diving without glasses can make you blurry. We want to create something to help with that.
Here are some roles that everyone was assigned with. Each one knew what we were working on and we were if we need help. Here's a simple schedule spreadsheet. We found the goals of what we wanted to accomplish and updated daily what we did accomplish. We also assigned core value activities for our team members and did one every meeting.
We went to Cincy Scuba in Hamilton, Ohio, and talked with Nick. He said that he liked our project and said it would help his students that wear glasses.
We researched what materials we are working with. Glasses are commonly made from xyloacetate frames. The soft part of goggles are made of silicone, and the hard part are made of polycarbonate plastics.
The initial idea was to remove the arms and attach the glasses onto the goggles. However, discussions with Dr. Glass revealed that this design would not work, as removing the templates alters the distance between the goggles, affecting how water pressure changes during a dive. For the third design, we want to aim to create a magnetic frame for the glasses and attach the goggles. However, research revealed that there is no such thing as magnetic frame. Additionally, this would not work. For the second design, we want to look at leaves on the earpieces on the glasses and slide them into the glasses so the goggles will seal onto them. This design will work in the water according to the experts that we talked to.
In the future, we want to further develop prototype 2, run multiple tests, and make a DIY kit for prototype number 2. That way people who wear glasses can slide their glasses into goggles and so on.
The cost of the prototype is going to be cheaper than prescription goggles, which is around $440, and a similar price to normal goggles, which is around $35.
This kit will include 2 seals, super glue, a hole punch, and instructions will cost about $32. Our goggles will enable glasses wearers to scuba dive, snorkel, or even swim, allowing them to explore the oceans and waterways around them. With over 60% of the global population needing corrective lenses, we could impact nearly 5 billion people. People cannot wear contacts for many reasons. Some reasons are because of dry eye disease, eye allergies, blepharitis, and astigmatism.
Nick at Cincy Scuba had offered to test our prototype with his swim team in Findlay, Ohio. We met with Mr. Luhrmann, a teacher at Ross Intermediate School. He said that the goggles would help him and they were comfortable. The Miami University swim team is interested in helping with testing as well. The supplies we used to make our prototypes were Nito stress balls, glasses, goggles, and glasses. Our sources include Warby Parker, Nito, YouTube Films, and our experts. Any questions?
Yes.
Yeah. So, who in your group tried them out? Like, who wear glasses did you get?
These are fake.
So none of you have to wear glasses? No. Couldn't try them out. All right, you gotta help me out for a second. What are these?
So, those are the, what are those? So those two goggles, see those are the Nito stress balls?
Okay.
This button part here. And so we would add a 3D printer part that's flexible and
Gotcha.
is water.
Water, so it'll seal like where the glasses come out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
We want to extend this more so that there's an air pocket at the top.
Oh, okay, gotcha. There you go.
Yeah. These are really-
Very, yeah. Very innovative. That is really innovative.
Any other questions?
Tell us about the buttons you all have on your hats. There's all kinds of buttons on there. What's that? Tell us about that.
Some of the buttons are from teams we met at tournaments, and one of the buttons is our team button.
So you trade buttons with other teams?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Any others? Questions?
So what inspired you for this idea?
Some of our family members wear glasses, some friends wear glasses. We thought before that we thought like turtles and stuff at the start because we all liked animals such as turtles and sharks. We wanted to make a shade, so because the temperature of the egg decides the gender of the turtle. And we also thought light filters, so they wouldn't go straight for the streets because the lights are the same colors as they are with the moon. They follow the moon to the sea, and sometimes they get either ran over or they die the next day. Some of
So where's your next competition?
Troy, Ohio.
Troy? Okay. Very good.
Yeah. Nice job. When is that? 2 weeks, okay.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks.
Very good. That's great. Well, I think the board wishes you the very best at the state competition. You all have done a wonderful job. You're working to solve a problem I'm sure that a lot of people appreciate. Let's give them a round of applause.
Good job, guys.
Oh, okay.
Now for our robot presentation.
Ah, okay.
Our team began the season by building missions together to become more familiar with the missions and to get to know each other. To learn about the missions, we first made a chart of the missions and listed easiest to hardest versus points, decide which to complete. We started with the easier missions that had the most points and closest to home base first so that we could start coding runs.
For run 1, which is red, we can start on the right side and complete missions 13 and 11. Run 2, yellow, we complete missions 9 and 5, then moves home on the left. Run 3, green, we release the shark for mission 2, flip crowbars for mission 1, and move the diver for mission 4. Run 4, blue, we reset the robot to deliver the divers for mission 3 and flip the coral reef. Run 5, orange, we complete mission 6 and 7 at the same time. Run 6, black, we move the shark into the habitat and remove the trident. And our final one, run 7, brown, we push the 2 magnets onto the table for mission 3.
This is a chart of each of our robot runs. Our main gun runs give us points from 40 to 85 points each. The main runs can be completed about 20 seconds each, and our maximum points we can currently get is 420. Most of our team members moved on to the high school team, so we sought out help for coding this year, especially for gyroturns. We utilized FLL tutorials, YouTube videos, and collaborated with the Panhandle Cookie Bites in Nebraska to exchange ideas. We previously met them at the Sunshine Invitational in Florida. Early design, our robot was wide and open in the bottom. The second design allowed for the wheels to be protected from the objects on the board. Quick change attachment base, which allows them to drop in place. We also used color sensor to start the robot. This year, our team used last year's Robot Masterpiece robot game alongside our innovation project to present the FLL program to Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, which is starting a FLL team. We also promoted FLL at GE Innovation Outreach Day. Engaging with FLL Robotics helped members improve their ideas.
Our current design includes bigger wheels to gain more speed, larger motors to run attachments, and smaller motors to power the wheels. We swapped the touch sensor to the robot to a color sensor to eliminate bumping after setup.
In our codes, once we have chosen which mission to run and the robot is set up, we use the color sensor to send the robot on the mission. The button turns red, so we know that the color sensor started to read the code. Multiple gyro turns make it accurate. Last tournament, the judges said that we should look into gyro straight, so we did, and we found it is much more accurate.
Some of the features are a shield on the robot to keep things from going under the robot into the wheels. We also have one-click attachment change that all attachments strip onto the frame of the robot within seconds, and use a color sensor to send our robot runs.
We created new attachments. The ones that work, we try to combine with other attachments if possible. We have attachment for every mission on the board, but not all the attachments work. We all have many unique robot attachments, all attaching on the same spot on our robot, and many of them can be used to do multiple missions. We have 5 attachments doing 7 runs and 12 missions.
We utilize Spike Prime MyBlocks for coding, working with 2 robots and 2 computers to collaborate on code and attachments at the same time. Once completed, we merged everything on one computer and refined the codes for our main robot. Lizzie and Wyatt led the coding effort, supported by the other team members in coding and designing the robot runs. Here's some of our robot run testing results. This showed that we needed to make our robot more reliable and showed that we've improved our reliability on these runs. In run 4, we went from a reliability of 7% to 89%. And in run 5, we went from a reliability of 51% to 73%.
Since the last tournament, we have improved on our gyro turn coding, worked on our reliability with other missions. Our team worked together to improve and solve missions. We communicated with past team members when we needed help and worked together to build attachments with the team members. We also had a core value exercise 2 times a week. For the next tournament, we want to work on our robot runs to add more points. We want to look at combining more runs and attachments, save more time, and finish coding the other missions that we've already built attachments for. We also want to look at increasing speed if we do not lose reliability.
Any questions?
Can you tell me more about like the core values aspect that you keep talking about? I know one of you said it was your favorite part. But you keep bringing that up, so I just don't know that much about that part.
Core values, it's like it's basically we do it after our snack time, and it's where one of our team members picks a game to do, and then all of our team members do it.
And for core values, we would have a schedule set up where we would start someone, and then we would have it Monday, Thursday, and Friday. On Monday, we would choose someone. We would change it up. We wouldn't do one on Thursday because we do our robot days. And on Fridays, we mix it up again and have another person. We choose different people. And our core values are around fun, teamwork, innovation, impact, and inclusion and discovery.
Nice.
Any other questions?
Time for applause now, Mr. Saylor.
Great job, guys.
We wish you the very best of luck. It was very impressive, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job representing Ross. Thank you.
I want to know where I can get one of those shirts.
Great job, everyone.
Great job.
And thank you all the coaches and parents, because I know you put a lot of work into this too, and we appreciate that very much. How many teams are there, Mr. Saylor? Pardon? 4 for the middle school? Okay. Right. Okay, great. Okay.
We still host our regional tournament, while they're packing up for the fall, so every year you get a chance to come out and see me in a wig and a weird shirt. I don't think it's as much as I used to.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the presentation, and please feel free to leave. Unless you want to stay around for the meeting, you're certainly welcome to leave at this time. Okay, thank you again. Oh, they got the whole cart. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Ms. Young, are we ready to talk about the book?
We are ready to talk about the book, so students, even school board members have to do homework.
There you go.
This has been our homework as we've been reading this book and talking about it, so you never get rid of homework
There you
even
go.
when you get to be an adult.
Lifelong learners.
That's right.
So this evening, we are scheduled to talk about the second of the book, the second third of the book. Sorry, I lost my words there. And this really, the first third we talked about was a lot of the biology behind how our brains react and how we emotionally react to instances. This second third is now how do we put these principles into practice, and why is it important that we have these conversations? So they talked about active listening and responsive listening and those sorts of things. So just from your perspective, what were your takeaways, good, bad, or indifferent? You won't hurt my feelings, I promise.
Well, I was glad to see them refer to Stephen Covey's work in this reading, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, which I think is a fantastic book. They did reference the part about seek to understand before you try to be understood, which is really, that was kind of the heart of the whole thing. I think that first, 4th and 5th chapters, more or less.
Yeah, I really think I took what you just said there the most out of everything, because you've always got an idea of what somebody else is thinking, but and it's preconceived in your head, but when you start talking to them and asking them questions, kind of let them finish out their thoughts. You know, sometimes it's based on principles that we weren't raised with, or we weren't, you know, we didn't see their side of things. And, you know, if it's part of it's listening, but it's really focusing on what they're saying. And I think that was a big part, because a lot of people can look at you and kind of smile and nod, and that's one thing. But, you know, to interact with them and discuss with them really what drives them before you come to a conclusion is important. So I agree with that.
And that kind of goes along with, like, just a common theme too, is like the empathetic listening, empathy interviews that you can have with people, but just, you know, really, like you said, just taking the time, actually hearing what they're saying, not just, you know, trying to like think of your next thought to get in there, you know, and just providing that time to really hear somebody out.
Yeah. Well, I think for the most part, when I read this book, I think there's very prime examples of people who don't meet, who, you know, people who don't have a high EQ. And so going into it, so it's like one of those, you're learning from how not to do things. So I've kind of learned from how, before I even read this book, just how to try to increase my, you know, emotional intelligence. So there was a couple things in here that I had never even heard of before. So it's kind of just added to, you know, the repertoire of active and empathetic listening. So it's been good. It's been helpful.
Yeah, it's definitely been, it's reinforced a lot of what I've read, and, you know, again, going back to the Stephen Covey book, I read that a few years ago. I don't remember all of it, obviously, but, you know, some of it stuck with me. And, you know, I think that to everyone else's points, I think it's important to listen, and not listen, but actually listen and understand what they're saying. That's going to get you ultimately the best result, especially in this tough conversations when you have to have them with employees or even with fellow coworkers. So that's definitely I think one of the most important takeaways from this section.
I like the emphasis here about honesty and telling the truth. Now, don't be brutally honest, and you know, you don't just tell them like it is. But I mean, you've got to. That'll sink anybody in any business or school administration or anything else faster than anything, is if you don't tell the truth. If you tell somebody something because you think that's what they want to hear, and tell somebody else something different, the word will get around, you know.
Well, what the book doesn't tell you is that, you know, it says humans are emotional. It doesn't really tell you how to deal with it once they start expressing those, because if they hear the truth, you know, how they react, you don't know what that's going to be. And that's what stops good managers from having difficult conversations sometimes, is they don't have the control over what that outcome's going to be. Now, you can be direct and honest and, you know, define all of your terms of what you're going to say, but you have to make sure that person's hearing it, because sometimes once they start crying, they're done listening, and, you know, the delivery of bad news is never, you know, received as you think. And I think that's when you need to follow up, and why it's important to put a lot of things in writing sometimes, and because you don't know what's going to happen when that emotion kicks in.
Yeah, it's also important to kind of put yourself in their shoes and how they're going to receive that message. And you can kind of adapt along the way and along that conversation once you've kind of figured out, okay, this person, they're choosing scenario C. Let's regroup here, and maybe we can, you know, redirect this conversation.
It's not easy giving somebody bad news.
No, and that's really been the theme, and how I introduced this book to the leadership team is that leadership's hard. Difficult conversations are hard, but they're absolutely needed. And oftentimes what I've found, and I can think back to conversations that I've had with building leaders in a different district, everyone knows who the problem children are. And oftentimes staffs, teams are waiting for you to address it. And they're looking at you like, how are you going to address it, leader? And the longer you don't address it, the more it becomes a reflection on you and you as a leader. So any skill that we can give folks to have coaching conversations, to walk people in the direction we need them to go, those are skills I think that are worthwhile for all leaders and all people. I used to say as a building high school principal, the discipline conversations were the best when a student and a parent walked out of my office and said, I don't like that you suspended my kid, but I understand why you had to do it and why he had to be held accountable. That's when you knew you handled it the right way. They didn't like it, but they understood for the greater good why it had to happen. So, and that's kind of that same flavor of these sorts of conversations as leaders.
And I think educators have a tough time because we're used to trying to fix every problem and teach people to be different, or, you know, if they're chronically late, I don't know how many conversations you can have with somebody. They're just a person that doesn't get up in the morning and get moving. It's, you know, they're not gonna change. It's just in their DNA sometimes, and I think we always think we can fix things. And at some point, you know, it comes down, you either gotta get to work or you're gonna get fired. And, you know, I've seen, they just can't fix it sometimes. And there's a million and one excuses, the kids, the car, the whatever, but sometimes it gets involved, and, you know, you need to redirect them, I guess, is sometimes not necessarily fire them, but they need to start looking for some other line of work where they don't have to be there. They can work from home nowadays, I guess.
Yeah,
But-
you can be honest with your employees about
Right, I
about
mean,
the
but-
behavior, but they also have to be honest with themselves and realize that, yes, that is an issue, or, you know, what do we need to do to fix this? And sometimes that may be that tough conversation. It can't be fixed.
But see, educators believe they can change people and teach them, you know, and that I think causes a problem.
Something else here I thought that was important was, it talks here about having a sounding board or a mentor, which I think is really, really important. That's something that I think when you first get started as an administrator in schools, you don't necessarily think about that. But it's really important, I think, to have somebody that you can bounce decisions off of. And it doesn't have to be a similar type person. I mean, what I want to say, like, I know when I was high school principal, there was a counselor that I often talked things over with. And there was another person there that was the athletic director that I could have real open conversations with about things that we're thinking about doing and the impact it might have on the staff and so forth. So, and, you know, if you can find somebody that can help be a sounding board for you about what should I do, or what's the best thing to do, or what do you think about this or that, really important, I
Just
think.
call you.
Yeah.
We're doing some work right now in my district, which kind of aligns a lot with this book, and just looking at our staff and kind of putting them in quadrants, just based on like high will, high skill, or high will, low skill, or low, low, high, high, you know, these 4 quadrants, and then just providing kind of a toolkit, I guess, for administrators on how to approach different people based on where, like, we believe they would fall in this, and just kind of giving some ideas. So we're continuing that work, I guess, through the end of the school year for now, but we started that. So it's just kind of having those conversations and setting up some kind of framework to help, you know, get your point across and leverage what you need to leverage from people, and try to get them to grow, you know, in a way that is with finesse.
Yeah, absolutely. With love. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing the book with us.
Absolutely.
It's been good.
When are we doing this again? What chapters?
The last third, and I think we're in May. Yeah. April or May. I can send that
It's
out.
April
April
17th,
17th.
chapter 7, 8, 9, April 17th.
8, 9.
Wait till April 15th.
Well, I did wait a long time this time before I read it, but I even asked ChatGPT for a summary of the book, chapter. And it came up with a summary, but not by chapter, so I ended up having to read them the other day.
Hope the kids aren't listening at home.
Oh, they are if I have it.
We have one item policy-wise this evening, policy ACG, which is some updates to our administrative compensation guide. Please let me know if there's any questions with that one. That is all the items I have for discussion tonight.
Okay, all right, very good. Do we have a legislative report this evening?
The only thing that I'll discuss today is just Senate Bill 104. It's the bathroom bill, goes into effect this week. All of our policies up to date for that, so nothing really follow up on that. Other than that, I'll try to put at least a piece or two in each week, but that was the one this week, so we'll get some more moving forward.
That's a good reminder on that one. That policy's coming, and there's another hot one that's coming, which is the Parents' Bill of Rights. Those will be two things that Neola and OSBA are working on policy right now. And there'll be some decisions that the school board has to make in regards to both of those policies. So I would assume, my guess would be they will outline some either-ors with that policy, and then we'll have to have discussion as a board which way we want to go.
Okay, yeah, we'll just need a heads up.
Absolutely. We'll be ready to go with that.
All right, great, thank you. Do we have Butler Tech report, Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yeah, just met Tuesday, and there were a couple of presentations. One was about the Empower Challenge, which dealt with soft skills in interviewing and stuff. And there's a young man, Mr. Watkins, he went around and met with several hundred business that was at the, I don't know if it was at the Business Advisory or whatever, but they were at an event, and he got the top award for having the best soft skills, eye contact, handshake, chatting people up, going through the crowd, and he was there to receive that. And then there were 5 presidential scholars in the state of Ohio for CTE programs, and there were 3 winners from Butler Tech. Quinn Bonfeld from Lakota East, a Miriam Tunakar from, I don't know where she's from, but she was a sophomore and got a 36 on the ACT score, and she was a presidential scholar. And the 3rd presidential scholar was Ross's own Kenneth Rakes. He was nominated by Amy Miller, and he's one of 3 out of 5 presidential scholars in the state of Ohio. So he was recognized the other night. Seemed like a very polite young man and had things together.
Seems like we've heard his name before somewhere.
Yeah. And then they announced the May 1st is going to be the all boards meeting that they usually have. They've had it in the past in April, and it's going to be May 1st. There'll be more information, invitations coming out via email, and probably postcards to your house. Just please RSVP if you're going to go or whatnot. And there is they are going to do some of the showcases that night with different students, and there is a contest between the boards of education of who gets how many responses and people involved. Last year, Fairfield won it. Brian brings the trophy every week to the, or every month to the board meeting. But, you know, a much larger district, he's got a lot more people that can show up, I guess, but a lot of interactions there. So keep that on the radar for May. And that's all I have.
Also, Keith, the lottery was finalized yesterday, so every student across, I mean, through Ross, through all of our associate districts should have received their letters.
And are they committed to the lottery again for next year, do you know?
No, like once they're in, they're in. So,
No, I mean, are they going to use that lottery again
Oh,
to
I don't-
select students?
I
We got a
don't,
new superintendent, I don't know.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
It's,
Well, Keith, do you have any idea of how the other boards feel about the lottery at all?
it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
Some people think it's a great idea because it's more about equity and fairness, and there's a bunch of people that think it ought to be based on merit and go back to the interview process. The problem that, or the excuse or the problem that they have to overcome is now that they're getting up to 3,500 applicants, how do they set up the interviews for all those kids? And it's a major time crunch. When they were trying to set up even 15-minute interviews for that number of kids, it takes a tremendous amount of time, so.
Well,
And
maybe,
the lawyers have
yeah.
convinced them that the lottery's the way to go because of the misconception of whether they favored IEP 504 kids or not. It kind of takes all that away, so
Well,
those are the
but
two humps.
You might not, I mean, if you filtered kids out based on other requirements
Right.
prior to the interview process, you,
I'd like it to go back based on merit, but
yeah.
Out of those 3,500 applicants, what percentage are actually accepted?
We have,
only about 1,800.
I thought we had
So
like
about-
1,316 spots, I think,
Yeah.
is what we have open, and we had, like you said, I mean, more than double the applicants.
So, and they've done some things to try and add, but it's, the more they add, the more applicants they get. So,
Well, whatever you can do to let them know. I mean, I don't know how the rest of the board feels about it. I guess I'm really dead set against the lottery, but maybe we need to think about that. What do you? and-
I'd rather go back the way it was. I thought that was fine, but
You just force it down onto the schools and make them pick, you know, it just to be up to Bill or, you know, recommendations from.
They don't want my opinion.
No, I'm saying for the students to
No,
get
I
to go
know.
there, yeah. But I mean, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it proportional to the number of kids per school or?
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
it's-
I don't know that.
That's a
no,
good question.
I don't know if it's, I mean, it's, our numbers haven't changed. When I look at it from even when I was principal here, haven't changed a whole lot. I mean, we're always in that 35 to 50 range that are going there, and then, of course, they count all our kids here in satellite programs too.
Yeah.
But actually at one of the outside locations, it's between 35 and 50, and it's been that way for quite a while.
Yeah. Not to mention that now we've got Northwest students are able to compete for positions at Butler Tech, which is a bunch of
And
hogwash.
Hamilton has been added. So you got
They're not
two-
even in Butler County. I still got to burn my saddle from them bringing
Yeah.
Northwest in. Because they guaranteed Northwest that they would pay so much a square foot to use their vocational building. And meanwhile, we were housing units for nothing. So, oh well,
Yeah.
we're not going to solve that one tonight. Thank you, Mr. Kleinfelder.
So those came out today. So I'll send somebody a request for what the numbers are for Ross.
Yeah, they should have them. I think students have to accept by March 1st, I think. Yeah. Take it or not.
2 days after the board meeting.
Okay, any public comment, Mr. Castater?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're ready for Dr. Rice's recommendations.
Yes, item 11, superintendent's reports and recommendation. We'll do 3 different blocks. The first block that we'll vote on is that policy approval earlier, the administrative compensation package policy, ACG.
Do we have a motion to approve the revised policy ACG?
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion, Mr. Kleinfelder, second, Mr. Beckman. Any discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Yes. Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mr. Beckman?
Yes.
Mr. Gunther?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Next, we have policies B through G. That is the Rambotics overnight field trip, varsity baseball and varsity softball spring break trip. Those are both voluntary trips for our student athletes. We included E and F, the baseball and softball state waiver that doesn't require board action, but we thought it was important that you see that we did do that as well. And then policy, or G, policy approval from the January policies that we read and discussed.
Do we have a motion to approve items B through G?
Make a
Motion.
motion.
I'll
Okay, Amy
second.
has a motion, okay, whatever.
Sorry.
Amy's motion and
Sorry.
Mr. Gunther will be the second.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Yes. Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mr. Gunther?
Yes.
Mr. Beckman?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
The last item I have for reports and recommendations is letter H, personnel. That is employment, resignations, or leaves of absence, supplementals and stipends, including spring coaches and science of reading stipends, and then administrative contract renewals.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel items in H?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Yes. Mr. Beckman?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Gunther?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Rice. Okay, Mr. Castater?
You have 4 items tonight, letters A through D. We'll block those into one vote. Again, just a quick review. The first letter A is the curriculum HQIM purchase, quotes and the contract for that. We have a couple of donations, our investment reports, and then our monthly cash summary and financial snapshot.
Do we have a motion to approve treasurer's items A through D?
Make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, we call the roll, please.
Mr. Gunther?
Yes.
Mr. Beckman?
Yes.
Mr. Kleinfelder?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Do we have board committee reports? I think we had both finance and facilities met, didn't they?
Yeah, we had a facilities meeting last week, pretty light agenda. We discussed some projects that have officially wrapped up. We also were looking at some future projects, kind of putting some place markers and holders in down the road. I think one of the biggest things that we were looking at was the dugout proposals. We're working on those currently for the baseball fields. So we are looking into that still to get final numbers. Other than that, I think that was really the only project that we've really got right now.
Yeah, we did also, just a note on the curriculum purchase for tonight, some of those hard copy materials, we are using permanent improvement funds for
Yes.
some of those curriculum purchases. So not all of that will come from the general fund. The portion that we can purchase from PI for those materials that qualify, we will use those funds.
So from a facility standpoint, are we starting to work on a list of capital improvements that we want to get done over the summer?
Yeah, we have a lot of, we have several projects scheduled, things that we're looking at now. We also have, if you remember back, I think it was November, we passed the resolution with Vista Consulting for a potential series of upgrades with them. So I believe they're going to be coming to us in March to provide an update on that program as well, to kind of
Yeah.
give an idea of where things are at. There's a grant out there through the state that they submitted an application on our behalf. So we may have some news on that sooner rather than later, we hope, but they'll be here in March to kind of give an update on some of those projects.
We'll probably be wanting to get an idea of what we want to get accomplished over the summer so we can go out to bid if we have something
Sure.
and get it done by the 1st of May so they can gear up, like I'm thinking like blacktop sealing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
roofing and things like that. Yeah, okay. What about the Finance Committee? Anything to report?
Mr. Castater and Dr. Rice were able to attend. I'm not going to do justice, so I'm going to let you take
Yeah.
over. I just want to say thank you both for doing that, and that you'll understand here in a minute, anybody who's listening. But it's from my perspective, it's a much-needed step to take our needs and try to project them into the government and help them make some laws. So I don't know
Yeah.
if one of you two want to talk about it.
We're having a lot of conversations with local state reps about the governor's budget proposal and the focus being our story and why the guarantee is so important for our district. And if they start messing with that, they're going to put a lot more onus on the taxpayer locally. So we were supposed to meet with 3, 2 canceled, shocker. So we met with one representative, actually not our representative, he's down in Green Township, Mike Adesio?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Adesio.
Good conversation. It was mainly Hamilton County western side school districts, and then we were invited to participate as well. Intimidating environment for him, I have to give it to him. He had 10 superintendents and treasurers that were kind of hammering him, peppering him with things. But overall, a good conversation and a common theme that we're going to continue to talk about. And what we have heard through all of our organizations is focus on your story. Focus on your story. Focus on how funding means programs for students, means less opportunities for students. So we were going to continue to hammer that. We've already started collectively working on different letters, that sharing our story, templates of letters that we'll start to share these with these folks. What has been proposed right now will look totally different by the time we get to June 30th when they'll finally pass the budget. But we just need to stress the absolute necessity of continuing to fully fund the fair funding formula like they've promised for years now, and how important the guarantee is for us. Those are crucial for us.
Yeah, and I think the advocacy that's happened to this point has made a difference. If you remember a couple months ago, we were talking about, and there, I think it was Huffman was talking about publicly that he was not going to phase in, not going to recommend phasing in the fair school funding formula completely. And when the governor introduced at least his initial budget, he did phase it in for the final 2 years. So I think that continued advocacy for public schools statewide, and what we can do in our own little corner of the world here makes a difference. So we're going to keep spreading that message and doing everything we can to protect our best interest.
Do you think the other two reps, you'll be able to meet with them at some point, or?
They asked to reschedule, so we'll work to get that back on the books.
One of which is Lou Blessing, and I think he has a good kind of ear for the local concerns.
Okay. Anything else? Nope. Legislative? Nope. I mean,
bills about funding.
finance, nothing else. All right.
Everybody's got an idea.
Okay. At this time, we need a motion to move into executive session to prepare for, conduct, or review negotiations or bargaining session with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms or conditions of employment, as well as the employment of public employees. The board will move into executive session. There will be no further action taken by the board after the executive sessions. That will be it. So do we have a motion to move into executive session?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we call the roll, please.
Yes, Mr. Kleinfelder,
Yes.
Mr. Beckman,
Yes.
Mr. Gunther,
Yes.
Mrs. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening.